because of the fact that Steve Lyons had come to me personally and said, I and 3 of my clients had almost gotten hit by cars coming down over Main Hill, too fast and not stopping, not giving us the right of way. The right of way is the road coming around the corner and going back out around the corner. It is really. So anyway, I suggested that we put a stop sign at the end of Main Hill. Well, that has blown up in my face, which is probably good, but so now we are actually rethinking the issue and deciding to put a yield to right of way in place of the stop sign.
On Main Street.
On the bottom where the stop sign is now. So hopefully the 104 people that have written on Facebook will not write on Facebook anymore. And be positive and come up here and do, and get involved.
I'm here tonight.
Okay, Father. Sorry. Mr. Jean, Kathy,
Yes.
what would you like to say, dear?
I think the basic problem is the people coming down Main Street is the people who run the stop sign on Washington Street. That is the serious problem. And I think it gets worse in the summertime.
Yes.
A friend of mine, we were biking downtown and he almost died when someone ran the stop sign.
Yes.
Same thing happened to me 2 days later when someone ran the stop sign. And I don't know what it is, but I think it's a town problem, it's an international problem, and it is a tourist problem. Because people come to the areas who think stop sign means Florida. You heard me say that today.
I did.
Yes. Only thing I also think is try it in the wintertime to stop there. Particularly after, when the roads are ice. I would just like to see if you're going to do that, then do something about the people who run the stop sign.
That is not our jurisdiction. That whole road is the state.
Yeah?
So there always used to be a red light at that intersection.
Yeah.
It used to be red and green and orange, then it went to flashing red, then it went to flashing yellow. So, and then they took it out completely and they have this stop sign. So that's the state. What our problem is right now is the sign that we put down at the bottom of Main Hill, which is a stop sign.
Which I have run through.
I would like to make a motion.
I admit, I ran through it once.
I went through it 3 days when they put it up.
I didn't know it, and I had been through that intersection 5 times that day. I went home, got on Facebook and went, what stop sign are they talking about? And had to come back the next day and take a look.
No, really.
That there was actually a stop sign.
I appreciate everybody's saying comments, but I wish they had more positive. But anyway.
I do agree with you, Father Kathy.
That's it when I preach.
With the people coming out of Washington Street, they tend to not stop there. They really don't. I have almost been in an accident, but of course, having a heavy hand, I laid on the horn. So, yeah, that has happened. But then I live on Main Street, so I have a bird's eye view of what goes on down there. And you're correct, the Washington Street traffic is.
So I would like to make a motion that we do change it to yield to right of way.
Yeah, I second.
All fair?
I say we give it a shot.
All right.
Again, the emphasis has got to be here, town of Lubec. It's a tough intersection. We're getting into tourist season, which buy all of our seafood and work in our restaurants. You've got your grocery store there. You have the Quick Shop, which is going to be opening again. You've got people coming into town. You just got to slow down. I mean, there's no two ways about it.
Someday we're going to have to approach the topic of the post office, that confluence of
well, that's another one though.
roads
If
down by the
all
post
behave
office.
properly and gentlemanly and ladylike, then all should be good. But you know, when people come flying in, nose diving and doing all these other things, you know, I mean, personally, I grew up in a little town that didn't have a traffic light. I don't want a traffic light. You know, I might be the first one who does a little pellet to the traffic light, but, you know, people just have to slow down in these spaces. And plus, you've got the, you know, the gray apartments right there, and a lot of people walking over to get food. It's just common sense.
There's
to
also a
slow
lot of
down.
testosterone on motorbikes going through that I see speeding up downtown.
I mean, I don't know what more, I'd like to look into, I know we've talked about a pedestrian crossing that we could paint
Yeah,
over from the
yeah.
grays, get some of those yellow sandwich signs
Yeah,
that really, for a soft touch, seem to be very effective. So I'd say that's a very, I
Yeah.
don't think that would be too harsh if we could paint
I did
a
talk
crosswalk
to,
there.
I did talk to Pete Kaufman from Maine DOT. One of the things that he stated is that when DOT has a crosswalk, it's gotta go from one safe zone to another. Driveways, parking lots are not considered safe zones, they're looking at more like a sidewalk or a walking path.
But could we go from like
So we'd go-
from the Grays across to Quick Shop, the front side of Quick Shop that goes towards Murphy's? Something right in there, just something that, if nothing else, they're gonna slow down a little bit before they come flying around the corner.
It would help with the new stop sign or the change sign to have a crosswalk right there. It would draw the
yeah,
motorists'
we're
attention.
talking about that,
Yeah,
Mike.
Ricky is,
And as being a sometime pedestrian in my town, yes, there's places where I'm looking both ways to protect
Right.
myself. And the gray apartments, I said this once before, they deserve a crosswalk there to get to the other
Yeah.
side of the street,
Yeah.
because you know, 99% of the time they're going to the market.
Yeah.
so I know that,
This is the
that's
time to
not
get it
right
in
at, right,
early
and
in
it's
the
not
season.
right at the stop sign, but it does do what we'd like it to
Right.
do, which is ahead of it to slow people down.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'd like to see with that then
So make-
also
Make two,
Crosswalk
one
from
there and then like one.
Grays across,
We gotta wait
with some
till,
sandwich
we
boards.
gotta wait till they get it paid.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's not paint it,
Yeah.
pave it.
And then,
okay.
Watch that go on Facebook, huh?
Can you get Renee to order that?
I'm gonna try to keep working with Peter Kaufman to try to find some way that we can get a crosswalk.
A sandwich board or something that it can pop in the center there to, I think that would
Pavement
be,
markings just on
Yeah.
on the
that would be
roadway.
very effective, I
Well
think.
ahead, you know, like they
Okay.
have.
But we gotta go through the DOT engineer, whereas it's a
Right.
state road.
And I know if Barbara were here, she'd agree because she doesn't like them driving so fast past her house as well, so. We just need to
Okay.
get into some habits and please pay attention as we head into the summer season, I think is the best we can do right now.
Okay.
So, that being said, we would like to move up to items.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, which is, you see, Mr. Clark, if you would come forward, he will be discussing the notice and hearing that we had where we discussed dangerous building, Peacock, and FEMA.
Good evening, Mr. Clark.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen.
Boys and girls.
There you go. Hi.
The floor is yours.
Which would you like to speak about first?
What do you got on
Number
top?
1,
Which is...
sign notice of hearing for a dangerous building.
Okay. The notice, let's see, I've got it here. I need copies of it.
Yeah, you got one here too.
Pardon, you have it? Oh, okay, all righty.
This is it.
Okay, yes, that's it.
Okay.
Okay, I've got one kind of papers here, I don't know if I need all of these. What you have before you is the notice of hearing that is scheduled now for June 15th. And what'll happen is, once you folks sign that, that then goes back to French insurer, Mary Costigan, our attorney. And it will then be forwarded to the building owner who lives in New York. It has to be personally delivered by the sheriff, this kind of notifications, very serious. Anyway, once you sign that, then, and we send that back to her, then she will send it on to the property owner. You get the notice and also advise them of the hearing, at which time they can come and speak to their problem and how they plan to cure and abate it. and, you know, to be open for discussion, I guess, between the parties as to what will be the ultimate decision at that point. Now, you're in receipt of a letter from the owner. I don't know if you have that in your file yet. If you don't, I have brought copies. This letter was faxed to us today, and she apparently got word that something was afoot with respect to her building. And I think this letter that she sent was kind of like a response to what she knows is coming, even though I haven't spoken with her since, well, it's been a while. As you recall, I had encouraged her to get an engineer to inspect it, a structural engineer from CES, which he did. And the agreement was that I was going to meet him and her real estate agent at the time at the building. I did. I got down there. It was a rainy day. I got down there, and she agreed to that, but then she refused me entry. Okay.
Perhaps she was concerned about your safety.
I'm sure. In any event, I did say, well, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be at this point in time. Now, I have not spoken, I hadn't contacted her engineer, even though I knew who he was. However, in the body of this letter, she indicates that it's okay now for us to call him. Now, he called me today, right? We had a good conversation, and he netted it out. The building is dangerous. It needs some immediate repair, particularly to the gable ends, all right? The holdup is she just simply doesn't have the money to hire the people to get started on it, all right? And and she is aware of his findings, okay? Regardless of what this says. I do not have a copy of the report. Now, what I told him was this. This board, I'm recommending this board that we move forward with this procedure, this process. That there will be a formal public hearing on June the 15th, at which time he and she are invited to come here and lay all their cards on the table and talk to this board about a number of options, some of which they may come with, some of which you folks might decide. What I did say to him was that anything is possible, from a complete demolition to a restoration. That in particular, the facade of this building was of historic significance, at least to the residents of this town and the political body of this town, and that if something could be worked out to salvage that and save that and restore it, that would be great. And he said his response was such that parts of the front of the building may be so deteriorated as to require a replacement in kind and not an actual, you know, saving of what's there.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, I said, and there's nothing that would inhibit the board from entering in some sort of a consent agreement with her, where it's stipulated that immediate action would be taken to stabilize the building, and with the structural engineering affirmation that it's, sign off that it's now safe, in which case I could release the dangerous building notification, and it would also stipulate, have stipulations as to what would be done to bring the building back above 50% of its fair market value. All right? You know, I say that for a reason. Right? That once it reaches 50% of its fair market value, then she could probably sell it. Okay? But the most important step would be get the dangerous building notification lifted, have it stabilized, and then have her agree to a time frame by which it would be restored to a certain condition, equivalent to 50% or greater, 51% of it at least, of its fair market value. And I would rely, and I told him the board would rely on you, the structural engineer, to give us the benchmarks, you know, and the points. That's sounds a little complicated, and it is, but nonetheless, I told her that we really had no interest in taking people's buildings. We'd rather that they fix them up, have their own volition, and improve the properties, and so we can, you know, not worry about those things. So anyway, I told him what we plan to do. I said, I would recommend, which I'm doing now, that you go ahead and sign this, we move it forward, have a hearing, she can come forth.
Is this
Citizens,
this is a public hearing, so anybody
yeah.
could come into, yeah,
the public can come and speak,
yeah,
and they can, you know.
yeah.
And if you could, for those watching, I think we were remiss to say, if you'd like to tell them, because I don't think some of them may not know what property that is,
Well,
which we are discussing.
It's property at 54 Water Street, otherwise known as the Dodge Building. Okay?
So the Dodge Building,
Yeah.
June 15th, 6 o'clock, here at the town hall.
Yeah.
Will be an opportunity for the building owner and engineer to come and speak
Yeah.
in regards to their thoughts and ideas and future of said property.
Do you expect us to make a decision
I
at
would,
that time? We could do that?
well, that's up to you. I would anticipate that if she doesn't, I mean, I've been dealing with this building now for 5
Oh,
years.
I know, and the
And it's
town,
time, I mean, this
Yeah.
is, you know,
I think there's been more than a little patience on the town's part with that.
It's
And-
time.
Yeah,
for something to be done,
yeah,
all right?
I agree.
And the extent to which we can help the owner market it, sell it, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you guys will have to come up with some good ideas for that.
Well, I do think that the town has been compassionate up to this point, everybody else has, but I think that well has run dry. You know, that's,
Well, I would like to get it off of my list
Sure.
of things to do.
sure, sure,
Okay, so
Yeah.
that is on the 15th
up to you.
Okay,
of
yeah.
June. We do have a next update, but I'd just like to ask, is there anyone on the floor who'd like to discuss anything regarding the dangerous building known as the Dodge on Water Street? If not, we will move on to item number,
We have
Yeah,
a
Joe-
motion.
oh, we do have, for the hearing.
Yeah.
Yes, so,
And to sign it.
And
so
to
we-
sign it.
okay,
And
all
sign
right,
it
so let's
and-
not jump, I'm jumping here.
We only need to sign one, right?
Yes.
Pick one, pick one.
So we need a
Not the one I've
motion,
written on.
need a motion for the notice of hearing for June 15th.
So moved.
Discussion, I jumped again, but I'll ask now. We're good, all those in favor? All right. This one here?
The next one will be, I'm gonna do the 3 in a row.
Mhm.
The Peacock, I'll do the Peacock next.
Okay, Peacock property is next.
Could I have my pen back?
No.
I think, you know, if you drive up and down Water Street, it's obvious to the most casual observer that the Peacock building is in a dangerous and dilapidated condition. And it's gone from bad to worse, and it's actually worse than the Dodge building. So what I'm going to ask for tonight is for a vote by this board for me to proceed forth with the precursor to a condemnation proceeding similar to this one. That is, I will engage the owner in a serious, you know,
I make
exchange
that a motion that we do that.
Yes,
moving
yes,
forward.
yeah.
Okay?
It's a little different than the Dodge because it's owned now by a conglomerate, right?
Mhm.
So,
Not necessarily, no, not a conglomerate, it's a family in New York, a family business in New York. Okay. And I know how to get a hold of them. And,
Good. come on, speed
the,
dial,
pardon?
come on, speed dial, okay.
Okay, so we had a motion and a second. I just want to go, is there any discussion regarding the Peacock building located at
It's on Water Street.
Something Water Street, is there a
Yes.
number?
Yeah, it's 20.
72?
I
Are
don't
you
have the
looking
address
at,
handy.
are you looking at the entire,
At this time,
complex?
I'm just saying the entire complex.
Okay,
We can parse out pieces of it and
Yes.
move along
Yeah.
perhaps in our discussions. But it might be better to discuss the whole thing,
to begin with, yes,
okay?
okay, I
And
understand.
prior to vote, we had discussion on the floor, John?
She asked my
Oh,
question.
got it, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I think in pieces in general is where
Yes.
it would go, but, okay, so all those in favor?
And I don't know the address of this one, but it's the old firehouse building. The next one. That's the,
I don't know where that is. Where is that?
right over here,
It's right behind,
Tony
Pleasant
Airfield.
Street.
Yeah, it's next to the memorial park there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right behind the,
Mhm.
right behind the memorial lot.
It's not off yellow, isn't it? Kind
Oh,
of.
that big yellow
Mhm.
thing. Yeah, okay.
Okay, word is he's he's picked the contractor.
Good.
The contractor advised me of that today, he was in my office, and he hasn't been given the go-ahead yet. He's been told that he wants to have it done by the end of the month.
Good.
He has hired and referred two strong young guys to help him clean it out. So he wants to get all his stuff out of there, and then take it down. We got a place for it to go, it's all,
Good.
brand new.
Oh, he's demolishing it. He's,
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
and
okay.
haul it in away. Okay?
Good.
Mm.
Now, that's, what I've been told. I don't have anything in writing to that effect, but I think,
That's good.
given the actors involved, I think
Good.
the word's probably pretty good.
So far, we're not pursuant to any documents, this has gone
He's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing it,
well and informed through you, and
yes.
So it's all voluntary at this point.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wonderful.
okay?
Good
Not
job.
a whole bunch of paperwork.
do you
in
have
this
anything
deal.
else? You've been a very busy man.
Okay,
Yes.
no, those three, those three. Quick, firm, I'd like to do the firm thing next. Okay. What I've discovered is we talked about the firm, the maps, flood maps.
FIRM.
Firm. What I have here is I have a sample floodplain management ordinance for the town of Lubec.
Oh,
All right. And I got this vis-a-vis a contact that I have now got wired to the state in Augusta. And these ladies have the years of experience with the GIS program and they have all that stuff that FEMA's created right there at their fingertips. So we have the ordinance. The only thing that we need to do is wait and adopt it and sign it. It's ready to go. We need to proofread it and maybe add a
so we need to
few
hear a
things
hearing.
and have a hearing and all that. Now, the notice from the feds, she doesn't know when that's going to come, but it will come in two parts. There'll be an initial notice, which approximately 2 weeks before the start of the 90-day appeal period, and they will detail the appeal process. They will forward information regarding notifications to be published in the local newspapers and the Federal Register, which they'll do, and will provide the first and second publication dates. The appeal period will start on the second publication date. So there'll be two dates. And in any event, I'm
So-
waiting. They haven't heard, the state hasn't heard about this process from
So-
the feds yet.
Basically, it's up to anybody that lives on the water to come up and see
Right.
if they are on these new maps.
Correct. Now, what they can do, and I'm going to post this on our website, and I'm going to inform the general public and the press tonight. If any property owner at this point in town has a question about their situation in the floodplain, where are they in the floodplain?